Hi guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in again. I mean, look how high this bracken is. I've never seen anything like it. I'm back in the woodland, and it's the first time I've been in the woodland for ages, and I'm already really enjoying it. I've been here about 10 minutes. It started to rain, which is perfect for woodland. So only problem it gives me is obviously making sure that you stay dry, but I don't think it's going to last very long. Just going to give everything this little glisten. And I said in a couple of vlogs back that I didn't feel like I'd taken many good pictures this year. I've been looking back on the images, and actually there's been some really nice ones. I think I was doing myself a bit of an injustice. I've really enjoyed that. Lately, just to give you a little bit of an update, I've completed 3 camera club talks, which has been great fun. I've got some drone workshops going on, which I'm really looking forward to, and I've met some good friends, so that's been really nice. Woke up this morning to 3 new subscribers, which is always a great way to start the day, so things are going well and I'm feeling good, and it's so great to be back in the woodland. We're in the kind of end of September, and what I'm hoping to capture today is just the hints of autumn that are starting to appear. Now last year, which is my first year, I was going, autumn's here, but actually it doesn't happen until much later. But what's going to be great today is the dark greens at the end of the summer. Some of these leaves and the trees, we'll be starting to see the yellows and the browns of the bracken contrasting against that, and hopefully we'll start to record some images with different colours and that hint of autumn. Now, one thing I've noticed by doing my camera club talks is when you try and talk about your images, I've been trying to portray that actually taking your photography from a good level to a great level, it's about capturing emotion, I think. And that may be using processing techniques, it may be exposing to the right, it may be, there's all sorts of tricks that we can get up to, which I've gone through with you during the course of last year. So I'm going to try and portray how I feel today with this, and how I feel today is really positive, really happy, really great. That's lovely. There's been, I don't know whether you've heard them, you probably haven't, there's been a few muntjacs, deer, running about and barking down the bottom of the valley down there. So I'm going to head that way. There's this lovely silver birch beside me, so I'm going to photograph first, and then we're going to move down the valley, and I'm going to spend an hour or so in this wonderful woodland. Come and join me. Okay, so I've come across this scene, and there is no autumn in this whatsoever. At the moment, I'm thinking it's a square crop. Sometimes when I get into Lightroom, it changes, but at the moment it's square crop. And basically, I'm just loving these greens in here. Remember that they're exposed to the right, which I really like doing. I'm going to do that again for this, because there's a little bit of rain still coming down. It's a little bit misty, and the photograph really is of this big old broken stump with all the bracken growing around it, and then in the distance there's a lovely, I don't know what tree that is, maybe a beech tree. There's quite a few in here. There's just kind of curling, it might even be an oak actually, looking at the trunk. It's just curling around, and then there's another one in the distance. So it's about the space, and it's light, and it kind of conveys the mood that I'm feeling, which is one of feeling really good. And this might be similar to that exposed to the right picture, the high key picture that I did before. Delicate, beautiful, lovely. Right, let me show you what we're going to do with this. So as you can see, I'm stood beside this big tree behind me. woodland's a bit like that, isn't it? And one of the things I've been reflecting on over the last few days is the fact that when I actually looked through my pictures, because I was looking to see if I've taken anything decent, and I've discovered that since I've used the Z7, I've been taking so many more pictures, and that's not different pictures, that's so many of the same one. So I've been just going bash, bash, bash more than the GFX, and the GFX that I used to use was more of a, I felt more of a 5x4 kind of camera experience. So this seems to be a bit of a black, black, black. But I want to use this. I enjoy that, really thinking about shooting one picture, maybe two, of one subject, rather than bashing it. So I'm going to really concentrate on this, get everything working really well as far as framing is concerned, take my time and just do this in 1 or 2 pictures. So the exposure at the moment, we've got 8 seconds at f8, but the histogram is bang in the middle. So I use kind of aperture priority or manual. At the moment we're on aperture priority, and I'm going to go really high key with this, which I have there. Going to focus right in on the trunk and get the other two trunks in the picture. So framing wise, don't need anything on the left, don't need any sky. That is wonderful. There's a little bit of the trunk just protruding up the top, which I've got to be careful that I don't lose, because that will annoy me. So the camera, as happens quite a lot, is going up high. Just going to tilt the screen down so I can see it. That looks wonderful actually. So let's have a look. We're going to start here. Here's the first exposure, so that's f8, 20 seconds. It's still really dark in here. It doesn't feel dark in here actually, but it obviously is. I might have to go and get my hat in a minute. I'm getting a really wet head. So we're going to focus on that, and then we're going to focus on the middle tree and then the back tree. What's great about this wood is that the canopy is not that thick, so we've got lots of light coming in. Oh, nice. Okay, one more. So another one on the big tree, so f8, 20 seconds on the tree in the background. And that should be enough, just those 2 pictures should be it. Okay, first shot in the bag. I'm not sure how good it is, but I've really enjoyed it anyway so far. It's been brilliant fun. So, and that is what photography should be about, don't you think? Right, let's move. I'd like to move this way, but the bracket is so thick. I think I'm going to go to where it's slightly less thick. Right, the hat's gone on to keep my head dry. Now there's a picture here. There's definitely a picture here. I keep coming back to this, and I've been walking around, and I love that silver birch there, and that old tree, and even this pine tree's got a little bit of character. So I'm going to try and arrange it so I've got those 1, 2, 3, 4 elements in, and then we've got some distance here. Oops, I ain't in focus. We've got some distance there into the background. Some dark, some lights. This is going to look really nice, I hope, if I can arrange it. I've walked around this tree, which is another good tip if you're in a woodland, but it's so much bracken, it's so high, it's really difficult to walk through. I don't want to completely flatten everything, this is ridiculous. So I'm going to see if I can get a picture from here. Not sure. There is a picture here. It's frustrating, this one, because I'm sure there's a picture here, but I'm not sure I've nailed it. I focus stacked it, two images put together. It might work really well on a 65-24 crop, so if you see it, it's worked. If you don't see it, it hasn't, but got to be in it to win it, as we always say. Right, let's move over the other side of the road now, because over the other side of the road there's some really interesting silver birches. So I've been playing about with this little scene as well. It's right beside the road runs up there, some lovely oak trees. This has got a fallen birch here, another one going that way, another one in the distance, and there's a triangle going on here definitely, which I'm not sure is going to work, but I really love also with this is the fact there's lots of moss around. Let's just shoot it. There's lots of moss about and decay, but also beauty. Looks really lovely. This is actually 4 seconds now, so there's a little bit of tissue paper which I was gonna say I normally move, but it's wet tissue paper. I'm really not sure fancy moving that, to be honest, so that's gonna have to be cloned out. And unusually for this, unusually for me, this is quite low down, so it's not exposed to the right at all. We're going to get exposed for this silver birch here, which is what I'm focusing on because it's the main subject. But again, I think I'm going to focus stack this, just trying to take my time rather than just go black, black, black. I've got another branch that's sticking through the scene, which I'm not that happy about, and there's also another curved one here which might work, so, but it's definitely out of focus. So let's just shoot that, and then I'm going to shoot another one with it's focused closer in, so that I can put those together about there. And if I need to focus stack them, I can. There's so many little bits that I can see through here, so many little scenes, but it's just a little bit too messy. But it's my favourite kind of wood because we've got silver birch, it's wet, it's damp, there are oak trees, there's bits of bracken, and this is what I love about being up in Norfolk. Some of these woods just are beautiful. Right, one more picture, and we're going to go back and have a look at these. Oh, so my mission today was to try and talk to you about creating mood in your photography, be it the way you expose it, be it the way you process it. And I feel like I've created mood, but the images themselves are not really that good, so I'm not really that happy with them. But mood is something that's really important. I think if we look at this picture from, so you don't remember this vlog to get that looking right. This is Gator's tree from a previous vlog, and if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link down below. But you can see with this one I've darkened the sky down, so I haven't added the sky in. It was already there, but I've just darkened it down to create that feeling that I had while taking that picture. And it's one of the little tricks that we can use. But if I look at this particular picture, which is the one I was the most hopeful about, you can see that actually it doesn't really work. I think the trouble with this picture is that the main subject, which is the broken tree stump, from this angle doesn't really show up very well. It's covered in fern, and you just lose the point of the picture. It's just a picture of nothing. It's almost abstract. I was intrigued by, or I was attracted by the broken stump, the kind of gnarly effect of that trunk, the fern around it, and then in the distance the two tree trunks which were kind of misty, and that's what I liked on the day. But in a picture, it just doesn't really work for me. This one I prefer, and it's my favourite of the day. This has been created using the autumn effect, which I've shown you previously. I quite like it. Again, it's not the strongest really, but it kind of works. And I also like this one, which I took on the way back to the car. I just quite like the fact there was different colours of trunks, different textures of trunks in the picture. I quite liked that, but altogether not particularly successful. But what I'm going to try and do in future vlogs is to show you, or to highlight, where I can create mood to really convey what I'm feeling about a picture.
And I've referred to this before, but if you go and check out a guy called Ed Allen with 2Ds, Ed uses lots of processing to really darken down, to really change his pictures. And also Shane Turnbull, who uses AI, and they use it to create mood, to create feeling. And I think that's what makes their photography really good, and it's something that I'm going to try and improve. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me just go back to myself in the woods, where I will say thank you and give you some news, plus the fact that all the images will be at the end.
Well, I think I'm going to end it there. I'm not sure it's been 100% successful photograph-wise, but I have thoroughly enjoyed being in this beautiful piece of woodland. It's so nice. Autumn, there's just hints of it in the bracken and the ferns, and the leaves are starting to fall on some of them. So on some of the trees. So really hoping to come back in another month or so. Maybe next week you'll see me into woodland, because I think pretty much woodland is going to be where I'm going to be at for the next few months. I've got a couple of trips planned as well, which won't be woodland, which will be interesting. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, Yorkshire Workshop, Limestone and Waterfalls, February the 18th to 20th with me and Gary Sugden, a local Yorkshireman who's going to guide us, and I'm going to be there on hand as well to help you with it. Photography if you need it, if you just want to come along just to enjoy the locations, then please do. Still some places available. They are going though, so be quick if you want to get involved in that. And I will see you next week. Don't know where I'll be. Sunday, 6 o'clock. Hopefully autumn is going to hit us. Enjoy the pictures. Here they come. Till next week. Goodbye.